Matt Ramage is joining us from the Matt Ramage Show. And I've not talked to Matt before. I've I've seen you and followed you, and either you pop up like talking to Preston Smith, or you're bugging people at a Quick Trip, or you're just in my like TikTok feed screaming some shit at some Bears fan. And you've always been a guy like back in my mind I wanted to talk to. And so I thought, why don't I just do it then? And then I posted something about Fondy, and you're like, hey, I used to live in Fondy. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, well, let's do it. Matt Ramage, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited. Like the same thing with you. Like I've seen you around forever. I've seen other people like being on your show and stuff. I like what you're doing. So I'm pumped that you asked me to come on.
I wish I think like when you get like loud and worked up, it like comes from a place of joy and fandom. When I get loud and worked up, I feel like it comes from a place of like bitterness and hatred. So I need to learn from you in that regard.
Well, I get fired up. Like I'm kind of fired up today because Bears fans, because that's most like what I do. I just trash other people, but I'm just like so like I'm passionate. Like I know every football fan or every sports fan, like we're passionate people, and I get fired up. But like I don't take like direct shots at like Bears fans. Like I don't do personal stuff. I get it all the time because of the eyes. That's how I know though that I got someone. When they start talking about my eyes, I'm like, oh, you got nothing else to say. And now I got a chipped tooth to add to it. They're going to have lots to talk about.
Jeez. Yeah, you're I got one guy who comes on my show wears a bag over his head if you want to try doing that.
Yeah, I might have to start that. Because, like, I went to the dentist, and they're like, yeah, we could get that fixed in, like, October. I was like, October? So I might have to go to a different dentist. I don't know. I got to get this thing fixed because people have enough fuel to talk trash to me. I don't need to look like a meth head, too.
Well, I can barely tell. Oh, okay, now you smile. Now I was just gonna say I can't even tell, and then you smiled. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the. Yeah, it adds character. Just say you got in a fight with some Vikings fans.
I know that. That's what I was saying because when it first happened, I posted about it, and people were like, "I need to hear the story," and I was like, "I got to think of a better story," because I fell out of a chair. I was at the Lambeau Field, that free concert they had. I was across the street up in the hotel in the balcony. It was the end of the night. I had a couple drinks, and I went to get up, and my foot like stuck, and I just went. I dropped. That gravity got me, sucked me into the floor there, smashed my face a little bit, but I'm all right.
Was this a sober fall or a drunk fall?
No, I was definitely buzzed up. We got there early. They have like all these vendors, all the beer vendors, and like a lot of the beer was like warm that I was buying, so we're just chugging them, and that catches up to you after about 5-6 hours, and then. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like I was just like, oh, just like whatever. I was just in a chair. My wife's like, hey, let's go. We're going back to the room at the end of the night. And I went to get up, and my feet didn't come with. My face went right down. It was pretty bad. But my face is cleaned up now because it was pretty bad.
Oh, damn. Yeah, well, you look good.
Thanks.
I haven't fallen out of a chair or anything lately, so I don't have an excuse. But you look as spry as ever. So I'm pumped here. I am pumped. I'm pumped for the new direction of the team. I know that, but it is weird. It's like we are going into a season where I'm not like the Super Bowl is not even, they're still, if this, but it's not likely our year to win a Super Bowl. And it's been a long time since that's been the case, but I'm very excited. I look at this as the beginning of a new chapter or a new book or a new show, whatever you want to say, but I'm excited to see how this all works out. Now, if love sucks, that will be awful, but I feel like, the vibes look good up there. Everything, we'll see what happens when they start wearing pads, but just from a, lifelong Packer fan, as we both are, there's like I don't know. You're wearing new sunglasses or you got like a new tooth on it, Matt.
Yeah, I do. I'm really excited because, like you said, like every year the Packers, like we have like high hopes. We have all, like this. Any year could be that year that we get it done. A lot of years that should have been that year, but like this year, like you say, I don't expect the Super Bowl. But I also, in the back of my head, I'm like, I think that the Packers could possibly win the division. Obviously, it depends a lot on what Jordan Love does. But and I only say because the NFC North, I think is, like no one really scares me. I think the Lions did some stuff, but I feel like they're gonna. level off. I just don't have no faith that they're actually going to do so. But I think that the division will be a battle. But no matter what happens, like these young teams, like Christian Watson, like all these guys are going to grow up with Love. So if Love comes out and like he does his thing, that at first, I think that this team is going to grow up together.
Yeah, that's what I like about what's happening, because not only did they, and I'm not into the, are we rebuilding? Are we readjusting? I don't care.
It's
what
just a
you
word.
want to use. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. But we're all doing it together. And I was just talking to a guy about the Vikings, and they're essentially rebuilding, but they have Justin Jefferson, but he's still young. But then they have Kirk Cousins. So they're doing like what we would do if we got everybody and then had a roster of first and second year guys and then Rodgers. It wouldn't make sense. So it just seemed like the team was going on this direction. And now it's, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, and the whole team seems like really excited. Like you see, I think they always are, because everyone's saying like, oh, they look happier this year. But I think it's the same thing like Rodgers. Like, I haven't had this much fun in a long time. And everyone's like, arr. But like, I think the Packers are kind of doing the same thing. Rodgers is excited. I don't really talk about the Jets ever on my stuff because like I don't care what's going on over there. But like the new stuff is fun. So like they got a new quarterback, what we do. And I think all these young guys, I think they're going to have fun. Like, I think it's going to be a fun season to watch, no matter what happens. Like I say, I don't expect. I'm not going to have no like predictions. Like, they're going to go. Like, I made a lot of jokes. Like every year, I do like predictions, and I'm always like, they're undefeated. Yeah. I'm not going to have like some crazy prediction. I probably will, just because I have a problem with like say, because it's kind of like this. Like, you have a cousin who's kind of messed up. Like, you can talk bad about him, but. Yeah. I don't like talking bad about, even if I think the Packers are going to lose, because I don't want Bears fans. They're going to get happy about it, and I don't want that. So I find it very hard to like not be biased and be like, first of all, I do believe that they can. Who knows? Like they could surprise people. Like, I'm not saying they could surprise people and go 13 games or whatever, but I think that they could possibly be better than a lot of people think, especially non-Packer fans, because I think Packer fans are the only ones that have a little bit of hope that they can do something.
Well, I just don't get the assumption from across the league, and maybe some Packer fans are guilty of it too, that Love is just going to be bad. I mean, I don't remember when Rodgers took over us being like, I think because we got to see that one game. He had that game against the Cowboys, so we were all excited. We maybe sort of saw Love play good in the second half against the Eagles, but we don't like have that game. That's why I wish you would have played a little bit more last season, especially when Rodgers was hurt and they were pretty much out of it. But we don't everyone's just assuming, but he's had 3 years of training. He's 26. Rodgers is saying good things about him. That's got to come for something. I just don't understand why we all think like they're going to suck. And so I might say, Love might be bad, 6-7 wins. The last time I looked at the schedule, I wound up with 10, and I have them winning in Kansas City. I just don't know why I think Love's going to suck.
Yeah, I don't get that either, like why people just assume that he's going to be horrible. Yeah, we don't really know either way. But like you say, Rodgers said good things about him. Like, they made the move. I don't think that they'd make the move if they thought Love was going to play a year and then they're going to move on, or like, this might not work. I feel like they got to be jacked up, like, for him. I don't think that they would have made the trade. I don't know. I find it hard to believe, like, anytime, like, there's a Packer or any player really, when they're just like, this guy's gonna suck, he's a bust. Like, you don't know. Like, you just gotta wait and see. And he might stumble a little bit, he might make some mistakes, but I feel like they have pieces around him that are gonna help him. I feel like Matt LaFleur's offense could be used in a way that can protect him. He got a good running game. Defense has potential to be really good. It depends, because sometimes you wonder about some of the scheme or whatever. But they have a lot of their guys back. I think the defense looked all right at the end of the year. So I feel like he's in a good situation. And like you said, he sat for 3 years and watched Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you get to watch Aaron Rodgers for 3 years and winning MVPs, if you are that guy, I feel like not anybody. I could watch Aaron Rodgers for his whole career, and I'm not going to do nothing. But if you are a guy that can do it, I feel like that's a really great. Like, I don't think you could ask for like a better situation.
Well, and like, not to be all, but this is the Green Bay Packers. You know, they're not gonna. The team with Favre and Rodgers and Lynn Dickey. They're not gonna like and Magic Man and John Hadel. They're not gonna say. They're not gonna give us Jordan Love if he sucks. They know he doesn't. He doesn't suck. So now it's just a matter of how good is he, how good is the team, and then, like I said, I'm not even thinking about Super Bowl. The division's weird because now with what the Vikings are doing, they are taking a step back towards some sort of rebuild, but with Kirk. I do think the Bears, I like Justin Fields, so I think that I think they're more of like this year they win 5, then they win 6, then they win 8. Then I don't think they're going to go from 5 to like 12. And then the Lions, like, this is finally their time to step up. But my favorite fact in all of football is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won this division more recently than the Lions.
That's why you can't have faith in them. It's tough. And they got rid of Jamal Williams, which I'm sure that there's a reason for that. They didn't, maybe he wanted money. I wasn't really paying attention. But I think that was weird for the Lions because like I think he broke the record for touchdowns and Barry Sanders was there. And I don't know. I have a hard time buying into the Lions. I think it's weird that the Vikings are kind of doing what they're doing because you think that this is like their time. Like they'd be like, oh, you know, Rodgers is gone. The Packers, new starting quarterback might be down. Like we want to go kind of all in. I mean, I think their salary cap was kind of messed up. I don't really know all the salary cap situations, but there's got to be a reason. But the Bears, I just like you said about Justin Fields. I actually do like Justin Fields. I don't like saying that out loud, but. My son's a Justin Fields fan. Like I have a hard time. Like I won't trash him. I won't. I hope he does bad or whatever. And so far, you know, that offense hasn't been clicking. But I don't see the Bears jumping. Like even if they double it, they get to 6. I just don't. And I don't know. I don't have faith in any team really in NFC North. The Packers I do because I'm biased. I'm the most biased.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. You have a HaHa Clinton-Dix jersey behind you.
Yeah, dude, HaHa. Like he signed that. He came to my house for a podcast, which was like so wild. I don't know if you knew that story, but I was a big HaHa fan, and then I started making videos. He used to make these little videos, cleat phone videos, where he was at his locker one day, had a cleat phone or a cleat, and he was pretending like it was a phone. So I used it, made an edit of it, like we were talking.
Yeah. And
then he messaged me. And he's like, yo, I love that, whatever. He shared it. So then he started sending me, like, DMing me, like, little short videos in the locker room. Like, he would just say random stuff. He didn't spend that much time on it. And then I would just try to figure out a way to try to make it funny. But then once we started talking, I was like, hey, you should come on my podcast. Because I was just starting podcasting then. I was horrible. And he's like, I'll come to your house. And I was like, well, you don't got to do that. Like, I can come to you or we can do it. He's like, no, I'll come to your house. And I'm like, all right. So he came to my house. Signed a bunch of stuff, and it was funny because he actually signed a Bears Still Suck sticker for me because it was actually for a friend of mine, for his wife, but she was a huge HaHa fan. So I'm like, hey, will you sign his Bears Still Suck sticker? Like, it was like weeks later, he signed with the Bears. So I told her, I'm like, hey, don't post that. Don't share it. I don't want to give him a hard time. Like, that would be a meme for sure, and I ain't trying to, like, expose him like that.
You sat on that. What are you doing?
Yeah, I could have trolled so hard. But I didn't want to do him like that. I didn't want to, a new team, and all of a sudden he's got to answer why this crazy-eyed dude is posting pictures of him signing Bears Still Suck sticker. But
he came to your house. Once he comes into your house, he came to your house. All the rules are off.
Yeah, I could have, but I didn't. But he's actually super cool. Like the fact that he'd come to my house. I live in like this small town, like north of Green Bay. Like nobody's there. Like I remember the whole town was talking about how Clinton-Dix was in town, like people saw him or whatever, like knew, and then they're like, it was pretty cool. That's why I'm always loyal to HaHa. He's the man.
So if you're not too far from Green Bay, are you gonna rent out your house for the draft, or what are you doing?
No, I'm not that close. I mean, I am. I guess I'm like the same. People go to Appleton, but no, I'm not gonna rent out my house. I don't want no one No, staying in my house.
That I think I like everybody. So the Packers, they're the only ones that apply for this draft. Okay, and they get it obviously. And I mean, it's a draft. It's going to be you need a place to put people, and then all of a sudden, for like a week, anybody that could even try to have an opinion online is like, I'd also like to get in line and say Green Bay shouldn't have a draft. This is immoral. It's like they want us to have like a snowball fight in hell or something. Like, no, it is practical. It can be done, and I think it's going to be great.
No, I love that's happening. Like, I'm glad I'm not the one that has to plan the stuff. I was looking around, like where are they going to have it? Like, I don't think it's going to be in the bowl. I think it's going to be like Titletown District. I don't know like what they're going to do, but I think it's going to be awesome. I think
they're probably just doing the parking. Like, can they just do it in the parking lot?
Yeah, like they could just do it like right in like how they do the concerts. I mean, the Packers own Green Bay. They could just shut down all the streets and have people, setting up chairs in a row. I don't know where they're going to do it, but there's plenty of room down there. They'll figure it out. They got smart people over there. But people always think Green Bay can't do nothing. Like, they'll get it done. They got smart folks over there.
And what I think is where I'm going to lead now with you. I'm going to ask the question I keep asking because it's Dead Content Month. But I was saying, hey, Mark Murphy needs a lot more credit than he's getting for what his tenure's been. He's navigated now 2 quarterback transitions and has had a role in that. Won a Super Bowl, did Titletown, got us the draft. So I just kicked around. We did this a couple weeks ago. I said, is he Mount Rushmore candidate? He's not yet, but I'm going to ask you now for your Packers Mount Rushmore.
Oh, my Packers Mount Rushmore. All right. Well, first of all, I totally agree with everything you said.
So, haha, Clinton-Dix.
Yeah. No, I think my Mount Rushmore, like if it's like best or like my favorite, probably a little different. But for the best, I think you got to have like, how many is a Mount Rushmore? Like 4 or 5? I'm not even sure how many are on there. But obviously, I think you got to go Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr. I guess then you got to go Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
See, I'd take off Rodgers and put on Lambeau.
Yeah, that's the tough part because there's like the old school people that are there's so many of those because Lambeau has to be on there. No, you're right. But I think I would put Rodgers ahead of Favre just because he played for the Vikings, and I feel like you got to get a ding for that. No, but I think,
know what, that's a good that didn't come up when we were talking about that. At least like because Favre, where I would put Favre is. I just feel like he ushered in. Yeah. I mean, it could be Wolf, it could be whatever, Reggie. And also, like, when Favre was the quarterback, for whatever reason, and I don't know if that I've ever accurately explained this, I would be sitting there watching games with my dad, but I felt like when I was watching Favre, even though Favre and my dad are not, like, the same at all, I just, like, felt like I was watching, like, I felt like my dad was in Favre's body. I don't know why. He's right next to me. But I just felt like Brett Favre was dad.
Well, the thing with Brett Favre, like I always said, like people have their feelings about Favre these days, but at Favre's peak, I feel like he was the most loved player in football history. Like when everyone loved him. Yeah. Like even people who hate the Packers, and when his dad died, the Raiders fans did what they did. Like everyone was, standing up for him. He like just throughout his career because he was just like dude that was just do whatever. Like you say, it's kind of like you could picture yourself being at a bonfire drinking beer with Favre. Like he just seemed like that regular dude, and I think that's why everyone loved him so much. I mean, some things have changed for some people.
Yeah, but it's still Favre's one of these kind of guys that like he could like defraud me, and then I'd call him on the phone and be like, "What are you doing, Brett?" And he could just be like, "Oh shucks, Bart, I'm so sorry. You want to have a catch?" I'd be like, "Yes, Dad." What in the hell? What is that about him?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to put Favre in there though, because like you say, like he was one of the pieces that made Packer football fun and exciting. Like, even if it was an interception, it's the most fun interception you ever saw in your life. He like run around for a while. That's the thing, like with like the highlights, and you'd see him just like run around, like zing a touchdown, and they'd be like, yeah. But there's like 5 of those where there was an interception. But it was still entertaining. But more times than not, he got the touchdown. I mean, he does have the record for interceptions, but that's what made him just like so fun. You like never knew. Like whenever Favre just yeeted,
and he laid down for Strahan. That kind of pissed me off.
Oh yeah. That was definitely. I don't care what they say. He laid down for that one.
Yeah, I don't know why still, and I don't know why Strahan doesn't get more crap for that.
Yeah, and then both were just like, no. Like, dude, obviously. I mean, I've seen quarterbacks lay down before, like Brady and Peyton. Like, if they have a sure sack coming in, like they're not taking that hit. But the way Favre did it, like, and the way he was mobile at the time, and he
like ran right where he had a block. He ran right to where Strahan was.
Yeah, it's like it's the most give me play, especially with Favre. Like he would, if he was about to get sacked, he wouldn't go down. He would just throw it. He didn't care who was catching it. Yeah. Someone go get it, and he would fling it up there. But yeah, he just laid down. I feel like in that situation too, I think the game was like done or whatever, basically, and he laid down. I think maybe they're buddies. Maybe Favre owed him money, and he's like, "All right, no, I don't got to pay you that."
Yep. Yeah. Hey, you can have 50 grand from me, or I could give you the sack record and immortality, and then 15 years later, 2 networks will be fighting over you. Well,
and no one will remember. No one's gonna remember this lay down sack I gave you.
No, just my dumbass.
People forget.
People do forget. Fan bases. I grew up hating the Bears the most. That's changed. I lived in lacrosse for a while, so then it was easily Minnesota. I think I don't know if we hate Lions fans because they've never really had their chance to be good. I think when it comes to me in Chicago, I can like picture myself in another universe where I'm born in Chicago, and I can if you grow up and you're a Chicago Bears fan. I don't know. I just don't understand how once somebody gets to have their own agency among them, like their dad could like this, but once you realize, like, I root for the Minnesota Vikings. Once I realize that, I would get out. And Bears fans after a win are actually worse than Vikings fans, I think, because it's like found money for them. But to me, I the Lions feel like a younger brother, truly. The Bears feel like a kid in the neighborhood that, you hear a little bit of yelling after hours and you kind of feel bad for him, but you're pulling for him, if whatever. The Vikings, I fucking hate them, man.
They'll key your car. There are the kids in the neighborhood that will key your car, break your window, not even steal nothing.
You're out with the Bears and Lions fan doing like snakes and sparklers on the 4th of July. They're firing bottle rockets into your house.
Yeah, that's what it is. With the Lions fans, like I talk a lot of trash about like all the NFC North. I never really talk about Lions because I feel like you're like punching down, like way down. And Lions fans have always been cool to me. Like they've never really came at me like that. Bears fans, like I respect the Bears franchise. Like they have history and they have stuff. And I have some friends who are Bears fans and they're normal. Like Viking fans are just, I have no one good Viking fan in real life. The rest, like anybody I see online, like they're just so like they talk trash just to talk trash. They whine. They can't take a joke. That's why I always troll Vikings because Viking fans are so sensitive that they'll share in all their Viking groups. Like I'll make a video and they'll share it all over and they'll like go spam his comments. I'm like, yeah, that'll hurt me. Please don't comment on all my posts and get a better engagement. That'll be horrible. Bears fans are more like I have a few Bear fan trolls on Facebook who actually like I've had a message me like, hey, I actually like you, but I'm gonna troll your page. I'm like, hey, have at it. So we go back and forth and it's fun because like they always say, well, the change is coming and all this. It's like, calm down. But I think Bears fans are mostly kind of cool. On the internet, they're scum. But like in real life, I've met a lot of internet and the real life is a totally different thing for everyone. because I think for not just sports fans, but like just people in general, people on the internet, they feel like they can just say whatever they want. They get crazy. But I just think Viking fans are crybabies. They have no history. Like their team is just their whole franchise is just like made up. It's like not even real. Some billionaire dude just bought them, and then like let's get a mascot together. This guy with some horns, and then like it's just they've never won anything, but they're the loudest. And then the Viking fans hate history. Like they don't want to talk about it. Like you talk about like Packers this many championships, and I don't go around every day and be like, oh, the Packers are 13 championship, whatever. But like even if I'll post like on this day the Packers won Super Bowl 31 or whatever, like, oh, he's talking about the past. I'm like, if you had a past, you might bring it up from time to time. I don't use it in arguments like, oh yeah, well they won the Super Bowl this time. Like that's not what I do. But like I celebrate like when they it's the anniversary of whatever. I'll mention, not like I'm celebrating like Dunkin' beers, like, yeah, 40 years ago we did this or whatever. But they do not like talking about it. But if they had a history, if they'd have won a couple of those Super Bowls that they lost, like that could have been a dynasty. Like it might not have been the Steelers if the Vikings didn't. They were born chokers and they haven't stopped yet.
I'd love like the fights that I would get in with Vikings fans, and it's some of them just don't. I don't want to say like they have like a problem with they're just dumb.
Yeah.
Like you'll be like, man, what was the issue? What was the one example? It was something to the extent of the Packers were like 6-0 and the Vikings were like 3-3. And I said something and a Vikings fan is like, well, we've won 2 of the last 3 division titles.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And our point differential against you in the last 7 games is plus 25 us. It's like they use whatever, like little tiny. There's 13 world championships here. Not that I have the right to claim the ones that happened in the 20s, but I've seen a Super Bowl in my life as a child. I've seen a Super Bowl as a man. I've never seen the Vikings. The Vikings go to the NFC Championship game, ditch the quarterback that got them there for Kirk Cousins, never come back. The Vikings, Minneapolis Miracle, I think, is like the premier catchphrase for a game that you could use.
Yeah.
If they wasted it on a divisional round game, that pisses me off because they were so eager to have a moment. The best they can do is a divisional round win.
That's what I said. I said the Vikings are so bad that even when they win a playoff game, they call it a miracle. That is like the funniest thing. They finally won a playoff game. Everyone's like, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. And it was such a fluky thing that happened. Like, it was like if you're playing Madden and like the controller gets undone, your guy just stands there. That's kind of how that touchdown happened. And Viking fans, they loved it. They brought that up forever. But like, yeah, you talk about how they just manufacture stats. Like they'll say, well, Kirk Cousins is whatever against Aaron Rodgers. And like, what are the Vikings against the Packers? Like, it's like they just manufacture numbers. And I kind of did the same thing because when that Bears player talked trash about the Packers, said Packer fans are stupid and they don't know football or whatever. So I put up his stats, and I understand as a defensive tackle, like those stats aren't so I know that. But everyone's like so mad. They're like, you can't use the stats as a defense, and they're showing me Kenny Clark stats where a little bit similar. I'm like, I know, but I know that it triggered all of you. And they're like, now you just look stupid. Like, I look stupid anyway, so I'm okay with that. Whatever. First of all, like what he said, half the Packer fans don't know football. One funny thing about that is, like, how do you know? Are you listening to Packers podcasts? Are you sitting down talking to Packer fans? It's just like a troll, which I respect. I wish more players did that. I wasn't mad about it. And but that I'm gonna talk trash too. Then you talk trash, and then people are like, he wasn't talking about the Packers, he's talking about Packer fans. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Packer fan. He's talking about me. That's how I take it. But it's all fun. I really do wish more players talk a little trash. That's why I like Preston Smith, because I'll make a video trashing the Bears or the Vikings or whatever, and he'll like it. Sometimes he'll comment on it on Instagram. All the other players, like I have quite a few players that follow me, and I notice like they'll stay away. Like I ain't getting involved in that. Preston Smith will laugh or whatever. I always tell him that. I'm like, I respect that. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care what people think. I think trolling is the best thing. I think it's the most fun. Just going back and forth. Because, like, people troll me. They make memes of me and my eyes, and they got me doing all types of crazy stuff. Like, I think that's what makes it fun. If I wasn't talking trash, I probably wouldn't want to talk about football. I'm not trying to be all serious. Ain't nobody tuning into the Matt Ramage show getting smarter.
Yeah. I've progressively got dumber in these last 30 minutes.
Yeah, like, and there's a lot of podcasts, probably this one, where people listen, and then at the end, they're like, they know more about the, Packers or whatever you're talking about. Mine, no, they're not going to be smarter, but I feel like they're somewhat entertained. People seemed.
What was the Bears guy's name? I don't even know. Was it like Scotty?
I don't even know. I forget it. I forget his name. That's what I told Bears fans. I'm like, you guys are all defending this guy because I commented on. I thought it was CBS Sports because I troll on
Justin
Facebook.
Jones.
Yeah, Justin Jones. So what I do, like on Facebook, I'll comment on CBS Sports and all these pages, kind of trolling a little bit in the comments, and it just gets people like yelling at me. I didn't realize that one of those posts was like a Chicago news station, and I was like, why are all these people? They're all Bear fans, and I look, I'm like, oh, that's why. I thought it was CBS Sports. It was CBS whatever KY whatever news station or maybe radio station, but they were coming at me pretty heavy. I'm like, dude, none of you even knew who this guy was before he said it. You're just defending him now because he's a Bear. And I get it because I'll defend Packer players if they say something. And I get what he's doing. He's kind of doing that Zadarius Smith thing where he's trying to become a fan favorite. You just say the right things. But as a Bear, talking about the Packers, talking trash, like whenever they hire a coach, what is their number one goal? We want to beat the Packers. We're going to get the division. They always have the same thing. And all the Bears fans like, yay! But it never happens. So whatever. Good for him, like trying to hype up the Bears fans, but like I just wish it was someone that people actually knew.
Yeah, now Bears fans are going to be like when they do their 53-man cuts. I'm like, well, Justin Jones is clearly making it. He's
got it. Dude, I'm
months ago, I didn't know who he was.
If he makes the team, I'm gonna start paying attention, and I might do like a weekly thing. Let's see what he's doing.
Yeah, he was stat watch
on the field. See. I mean, like you say, defensive tackle, you can't just look at stats and be like, this guy's good or that guy's bad.
Like, dude, you know how Peter Bukowski will take a weekend and just download every Jordan Love throw that's ever been thrown and fire off 19 tweets in 12 minutes about it. Friend of show, so I'm going to shit on him. But you should do that with Justin Jones.
Yeah, just every
break out Justin Jones content. Look how slow he was running off the field here.
Yeah, dude, because I will hold it. You know, it's funny because that happened last year. David Carr said the Packers wouldn't win 8 games, right, at the beginning of the season. So then I was tweeting, I was making videos like, I'm going to expose them. Like, every time the Packers win, I'm going to make a video. And then it, like, went sideways real quick. And the Packers, like, they didn't do as good. And I actually made a tweet, and I apologized to them. Like, all right, because at the beginning of the season, I was tweeting them. Nothing crazy. I wasn't being rude. I was just kind of saying, Packers, they're 2 whatever the records were. And then they started going down. I'm like, I stopped doing those updates. But then after this season, I tweeted him. I was like, not that he's seen it or cared anyways, but I felt like I had to, like, man up and be like, all right, I was wrong. You were more right.
Yeah. Like, what, like, with trolling, the end game is to get the other person to say, yeah, I was wrong. And then like, you're not even satisfied.
Yeah, it was not good for me, but I regret nothing. Because first of all, I did not believe there was any way the Packers season would go the way it went.
No.
And obviously, I don't know if he did either. I think because that's what got me. Because he was like, Devontae went over there, so he was trying to hype up that team or whatever, and I get it. But I'm going to hype up my team, so I'm going to talk a little trash. But I had got my foot in my mouth on that one.
Well, that's all right. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, you got to own it, though.
Just like we own the team, man. I see your stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing with what I was saying about what's his face that was talking trash about Packer fans is because like someone showed his stats. Like I say, stats don't matter, but he had like no tackles, no nothing against Packers. So I think it's not just him, but that team being owned by the Packers is like in their head. So like he's just lashing out. It's like can't hang with the big boys. So you got to try to take him down to the pegs. Even though I wasn't talking about teammates, talking about the fans. And I get that because Packer fans, let's be honest, can be a little obnoxious. Like me, the leading one. I am obnoxious.
Well, he needs to be more specific. Like he needs to be more like, man, 1 out of every 10 Packer fans is named Linda and does 15 jello shots during the game. These people don't know anything about sports. Get real specific.
Yeah, I mean, like, break down the fan base a little bit. He doesn't know the fan base. And it's funny because I was getting tagged because Robert Tunyon, obviously with the Bears now, he made a comment about it. So people are posting his link. Oh, look at Tunyon said he whatever. Tunyon basically said you could say anything you want about any fan base. But he said he thought it was funny, which I actually thought it was funny too, like when I first saw it. But I'm still going to talk trash. I love it when Brian Urlacher back in the day said he hates the Packers. Like, I love that. I want that rivalry. I would love to see, like, Jordan Love come out and be like, yo, I'm about to torch these dudes week 1. Wait. Obviously, a quarterback can't do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think I would love that. I don't think I'd want him to.
No, because then we would for sure lose by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like that. But I like it when the players talk a little trash. And it's always going to be a team that is owned by the other team. You know, Bears players, that's why it's always them talking about, because they got to just be so mad. Like, why can't we beat this? And if the Packers win week 1, Jordan Love's first, start as a starter, dude, I am going to talk so much. And I know what's going to happen. I don't have any faith that the Bears are going to be that good. I mean, I think that it'll probably be a close game, honestly. I think Bears and Packers are actually similar situations, but I think the Packers keep it going. I think they're going to be fired up because they want to keep that ownership. I would love for at the end in Jordan Love's press conference, be like, we still own you.
Yeah, that'd be good. I get it. I get it. Like if you're a Bears fan, why you might hate Packer fans, us running around in our green and yellow, we rally around the small team. We all say, yeah, I'm an owner.
Yeah.
But then they kick their ass. So
yeah, and that's why we're able to do it. That's why I always say I thank Aaron Rodgers. Like, I know I wish we'd have got more Super Bowls, but like he gave me the right to like talk trash for a lot of years because that's what I like to do. That's why I get why Bears fans don't like me. I'm obnoxious. I make little videos dancing around singing the Bears Still Suck song. I do all types of obnoxious stuff. So I feel like he was talking about me, and I take pride in that. At least I'm one of the people.
Yeah. Matt, good to meet you, buddy. Good to talk to you. Let's not be strangers.
No, it was great. I feel like we've known each other for a while.
Well, we're both Packer fans, and we've got that shit Fondy water running through our blood. So
yeah,
we know what's up.
Fond du Lac's a special place.
I don't. God.
No, I'm not. I don't go back and visit. I'll say that. No, I left there a long time ago.
I tell people I was born in La Crosse, actually. I just ended up going to college there, but I don't know. Fond du Lac's hit or miss. I'm not. That's not why we're talking. Maybe another time.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.